What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back here for another one. I mean, technically it's Victory Monday, even though we had Victory Friday. We still riding that wave of beating the Ravens. That Ravens wave, you already know what it is. We smoking that Ravens pack tonight, baby. um, I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Enjoyed some football yesterday. Herbert absolutely 110% let your boy down so hard last night in fantasy in multiple leagues. Like, come on, Justin. It was the Minnesota Vikings. This guy puts up a fucking duck of a game. So Oregon, no pun intended, but it's there, I guess. Um, I hope everyone is having, like I said, had a fantastic weekend. Hope you're having a good Monday, and the energy from Thursday is still rolling over into the new week as we set up for MetLife Takeover, which next year, you bet your ass I'll be at MetLife Takeover 110%. I am so sad I'm missing it this year. So next year, training camp, some games in Miami and MetLife. It's going down next year for sure. Um, I hope everyone is, I hope you're. I know we're starting to transition, and I didn't want to drop the film study over the weekend. We're going to be doing Tuesday tomorrow. We'll do every Tua Tagovailoa drop back. Plus, we'll take a look at some Jacoby drop backs. We'll look at some defensive plays as well, because there's only 13 Tua drop backs. So in total, we'll look at about 25-30 plays tomorrow. So Martin will be here, Mr. Ballgame as well. So we got before we get into, I want to give some midseason grades. I meant to do it last week, but instead we did that panel show. Um, so I wanted to do some midseason grades, and and I was actually going to do it last week before the Ravens game, but because of it being a Thursday night game, everything was just so mushed together and like crazy and hectic last week. So tonight it's just simple show. We're going to go over a few little news and notes, and then I want to give my grades out, like a midseason report card, basically, kind of to go along with that midseason panel. If you guys still haven't checked that out, go check it out. And yeah, your boy is sick. I have now caught what my girls caught um the day we were supposed to go to Miami. Sorry, down to Florida. So yeah, it's brutal. Okay, so let's hop into this. We got some news and notes that I want to go over before we get into everything. But before we do all that, smash that like button. We are only 50 away from 5,500. So, actually, sorry, 40 away. So we're 440 away from 6,000. So, man, losing has not been good for everyone's brand this year. That's for sure. Um, Channels were growing massively last year during the season because we were winning. This year, they are not growing at the rate they were last year. That's for sure. So, if you'd like to donate to the channel, as usual, paypal.me/Phinside. You can also use the super chat. Become a Phinside the NFL Patreon, patreon.com/Phinside the NFL. Same thing with the YouTube channel members. You can hit that join button right next to subscribe below. They all got early access to the Jalen Phillips film study. My next one up is going to be Javon Holland. They'll be getting early access, and that Javon Holland is going to be coming either next week or the week after. I've been compiling as I've been going, and then after that, we're going to do a Jalen Waddle one. So they get first access, but as a Patreon, you also get access to insider info. And you get mod status with Patreon. But as a YouTube channel member, you get the emojis you see in the chat right now. You also get all the different badges and such that go with it. Patchvibes.com. Use code Phinside. Save 20% off your order. Get something cool like this tumbler. You always see me drinking out of. I got some juice out of this. Got to get my vitamin C up. And then backroomcollection.net. Look at I made this. Use code REASON to save 10% off your order, and you can get like a canvas like this. They're pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. And now they're actually doing autographed canvases and autographed football visors and autographed memorabilia from ex-players like Zach Thomas and such to other team players. Like there's even Justin Herbert signed memorabilia. So save 10% off your order. Use code REASON. And then Thrive Fantasy, use code Phinside to have every dollar up to your first 100 deposited matched. ThriveFantasy.com is the number one website in fantasy prop betting. So go check out ThriveFantasy.com. All right. Now let's get into a little bit of news before we get into the midseason grades here. One is obvious. Other things are just a little like housekeeping things. We get out of here. But so let's start off with what happened earlier today. Cameron Wolfe did multiple people tweeted this out, but Cameron Wolfe put it out there as well. It looks like as it stands right now, Brian Flores announces that Tua Tagovailoa will start Sunday versus the Jets. So we are back to this being Tua's team. There's no doubt about it. Moving forward, it's going to be about his growth and development. And hey, if this man can be a substantial contributor, and we can win out, shit, and squeak into the playoffs. I know that is such a daunting task and damn near impossible. And I don't expect this team to go to the playoffs. But if that were to happen, maybe that's the only way he can kill the Watson noise. But he's going to need to play really good football, and the team around him is going to need to continue to be really good because the next 4 games on the schedule, yeah, they're a little bit easier. But when you get to that final 3, the Saints, Tennessee, and then New England, and New England's playing good football right now, it is not going to be an easy task. And shout out to Fred for the $1.99 super sticker earlier. I appreciate you, homie. So it's going to be really, really tough. I mean, I'm not expecting it. We got what do we got? 7 games left. I think we could win 5. That makes more sense. I could do us winning 5 of our last 7. 8, 9. I could see that happening. Man, I could see 6. I could see 6 of the last 7 too. Man, I'm going to tell you, you know what will be absolutely crazy, people? Is if we rifle off the next 6 games and that New England Dolphins game is the 7th seed for either team. Like, I think just getting back to that position would change. If he's a contributing factor, if you get to a point where you're 3-7, but the last game comes down to you get in the playoffs or don't, that might even be good enough. But I'll tell you, if we get into the playoffs from 3-7 and 2 is a contributing factor, you got to wonder if that changes things a little bit. That'll save serious jobs because as it stands, people are going to get fired. Like, I agree with you, Z-Man. All the games are winnable. All the games are winnable. I agree 110%. The problem is winnable and executing in winnable games are 2 different conversations to have with the Miami Dolphins, and that goes beyond the Brian Flores era. That goes for a long time. So, I mean, the focus should be right now is you win these next 4 games, go into the bye 7-7 and reevaluate because the advantage the Dolphins will have is over the course of the last 3 weeks with the Saints, New England, and Tennessee, we would be coming off a bye. And if we come off a bye 7-7 heading into those last 3 games on a 4, well, it would be a 6-game winning streak if we win the next 4 because you got to count these 2. So, I mean, that would be crazy. Technically, we'd be asking this team to close out the season on a 9-game winning streak. Think about that. You know how hard that is? Like, I don't know. Not very many teams do that. Like, and not very many great teams do that. That's what's scary too. I mean, it's doable. Go back to 2019. I believe the Patriots start off their first 8 or 9 wins were with that historically great defense. So it can happen. It can happen. So, I mean, it's I don't know. I'm not putting my faith into. We're gonna look back on this season and that stretch from Las Vegas, um, to Atlanta. We're gonna sit back and say we should have won 2 or 3 of those games, and that was the difference. I mean, I hope they prove me wrong, but that's probably what it's gonna end up. Yeah, and I see people talking about Cam. Guys, Cam was like, what did he really do other than inside the 5-yard line? And I ain't worried about Cam. Our defense can stop Cam. Cam's a scrub now. This guy's yelling, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back, like completing like half-yard passes for a touchdown. And like, get out of here, bro. I'm not worried about Cam Newton in the slightest. Cam and PJ Walker, I'm good. I'm not worried about them in the slightest. All right, and then there was other news today, and this was news, so in talking today, Flores announced that McCourty is now out for the year. Fuller, Dieter, and Malcolm Brown will not return this week. Now, we got further information today in regards to Will Fuller. And shout out to my homie Nick Hicks, and shout out to everyone over at Perform. You know they're the homies for me, right? So shout out to Perform, but they basically tweeted out today. They replied to actually one of my buddies on Twitter. Shout out to Steve Anderson. He's a subscriber to the channel. Plus, I've known him for a couple of years. He's a legit dude. One of the bigger Tua people you will ever see. But Jersey Finn fan, he said, did Will Fuller get surgery on his finger? I don't remember that happening. And this is what happened here. I'll show you guys right now. So this is what was discussed right here. All right. So did Will Fuller get surgery on his finger? I don't remember that happening. If not, it's flat out weird that he's missed this amount of time for finger injury. Wide receiver, I know. That didn't even require surgery. Maybe he opted out of surgery but shouldn't have. And then confirmed he did have surgery. So that could explain his extended absence right now, albeit we saw the shape of Russell Wilson's finger, and Russell Wilson is back right now. So you tell me. All right. And then one final little piece of housekeeping here. The Dolphins did make a signing today. They actually acquired someone who was, I think I talked about in the offseason as, a cheap, before they signed Jenkins and stuff. And it is former Browns defensive tackle Andrew Billings, who cleared waivers. He has signed with the Miami Dolphins. Now, this guy is an interior. He can play the nose. And then he can play defensive tackle on either the right side or the left side, or he can just go straight to a 3-tech. So, I mean, you guys might remember him. He was decent with Cincinnati. He can generate a little bit of a pass rush too. Over his, from 2018, because he didn't play last year because of COVID. So in 2018 and 2019, he had 43 pressures. Those years he had 5 sacks between those 2 years. So, honestly, and he's actually a pretty decent run stopper. I think he had, 43 run stops in that time as well. So he's pretty good on the interior. He's definitely a good rotational piece for them to add. And you see here, Ian Rappaport indicates that he's going to move up pretty quickly. So he is signed to the practice squad, but expected to move up pretty quickly. So, it's a decent signing. It's actually not a bad signing. I actually like this signing. And it's going to help, as we get into the final push when we face a team like the Saints and stuff like that, he will help in the run defense. So Bleezy, where's my boy Benito Jones? He said, man, it's not looking good for Benito if they're making moves like this. But Andrew Billings is a more finished product. So I actually like this signing. I think it's a pretty good signing. And I think he can be a contributor in the same shape that you see Adam Butler contributing right now. So he's starting to come on, start off slow, and he's coming on. So yeah, Russell, I thought didn't Benito Jones go to Kansas City or something? I thought Benito Jones got moved down to the practice squad and then he got claimed. I'm pretty sure, right? No? Yeah, he's on KC. Z-Man. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he got claimed by the Kansas City Chiefs. No, he's back with us. Benito is back with us. Yeah, I guess he's back with us. I just saw it. I just looked him up. It says he's back with us. So even he's on the Miami Dolphins player roster right now. So he's definitely back with us. I thought he went to Kansas City. I could have sworn. Give me a sec here. I know they claimed him. Yeah, Benito Jones, Kansas City. Yeah, it says in September we signed him to the practice squad like Kansas City did. And he's on the Miami Dolphins website. Yeah, he's on the practice squad right now. I just confirmed. I just saw the Sun Sentinel. So he's on the practice squad right now. But I don't know how that he came back to us. Because September 2nd, 3rd, he signed everyone's reporting he signed with, I don't know what the hell happened. He was there. He went, if you go look, Google Benito Jones, Kansas City Chiefs, and September 2nd, September 3rd, all these different outlets are reporting he's on their practice squad. Go check it out. I don't know. And then he came back. Yeah, he was a beast. He was the thing with Benito Jones. Listen, I'm going to tell you what the problem with Benito Jones, because if you guys go back to the 2029, go back and watch 2019. The 2020. Sorry, the 2020. Go back to the early ongoings of Phinside the NFL. Benito Jones was me and EM's 6th rated defensive tackle, and Raekwon was number 3 behind only Kinlaw and Derek Brown. The problem with Benito Jones, he was 5 or 6. I forget which one, but he was 5 or 6. The problem with Benito Jones is he's a great penetrator. He doesn't offer you enough as a run stopper. That's what's so different about Benito Jones. That's rare that you get a defensive tackle that can penetrate the pocket but can't offer you anything in run stopping. Usually run stopping is first for nose tackle. But anyways, shout out to Benito Jones. Shout out to Benito Jones. All right. I want to get in to my midseason grades here right now. And we're gonna start with the defense. And I'm actually gonna do coaching. I had the homie Todd hit me up and he said, yo, you should also do the fan base, but I'm not gonna go there. Don't tell me right now, Z-Man, San Francisco is winning, because I started the Chargers defense because I thought San Francisco's defense would get lit up by the Rams. Wow, and they had a pick 6. I'm done in life right now. Okay, so here's the deal. We're gonna do position by position, then we're gonna do coaching. All right. So let's start with what everyone wants to get out of the way. Let's start off on special teams. All right. And I'm not even going to touch on special teams coaching. I'm just getting these guys out of the way. So midseason kicker, obviously, is Jason Sanders. I'm going to give him a C+. We paid him all the money we did. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to knock him. Everything hasn't been by his circumstance, but some have been by his circumstance. And the fact of the matter is this, ladies and gentlemen, he has not been very dependable this year when we've needed him to be. And that's not like a knock on. I don't even know what to say, but I mean, I didn't think that, we'd be coming into this season right now, and he's 12 of 16. He's only hitting at 75%, and we extended him. Now, he's 4 for 4 from 20 to 29 yards. He's 3 for 4 from 30 to 39, which should be automatic. He's 3 for 5 from 40 to 49. And then he's 2 for 3 from 50 plus yards. Now, I know there's blocks in there. Don't think I don't know. But if you just put this into context where he is right now, okay? In 2018, he had a 90% field goal percentage. In 2020, he had a 92.3. In 2019, he had a 76.7. Right now, he's at 75%. And this is why. He is the worst he's ever been in his career right now from 30 to 39 yards, percentage-wise. He's the second worst he's ever been, percentage-wise, from 40 to 49 yards. And he's just above. So, again, he's second worst he's ever been from 50-plus yards. Now, last year, he's 8 from 9 for 50-plus yards. So, he can still, he's got room. But he's going to need more chances. The thing is, last year, he was automatic from 30 to 39, 7 of 7. He was 12 of 14 from 40 to 49. He's already 3 of 5. So I know there's been blocks. I understand all that. Austin Jackson's trash. I get all of it. But he has not been as dependable as we've needed him to be in situations this year. Jason Sanders, to me, is a C+. And I could have gone for C. Michael Pilardi. Michael Pilardi is a weird case, and I'm going to tell you why. He's a weird case because he'll muff punts for 35, 40 yards, and then, he'll pin a team back inside their 3-yard line. And it's one of those, you're getting a lot of bad and a little good. Right now, as it stands, this is the lowest hang time he's ever put up in his career. I don't know if he's fully over that leg injury. His hang time is only 4.1 seconds. His second lowest is 4.32. Now, his best is 4.49. His career average is 4.35, and we're getting 4.10 hang time right now. Now, a good thing, too, is he is, he's got his third longest punt of his career. He's got a 61-yard punt this year. His yards per attempt, though, is the second worst of his career. You got to go back to his rookie year to go back when he was 42.5 yards per attempt. This year, he's 44.2. Now, his numbers inside the 20, decent. He's already pinned teams back inside the 20 16 times. His career best is 28. That was in 2019. Remember, he didn't play in 2020. He's got the most touchbacks he's ever had as a career in his career right now, 5. So, you want to see them pinned. You don't want to see a lot of touchbacks. So, you know, he's just not very good. I mean, I don't know what else to say. This is not some massive upgrade from Matt Hawk or Hack, however you want to pronounce his name, that dipped off to Buffalo. This is not some big upgrade. I mean, sorry, C minus. That's just what it is, Michael Pilardi. I don't know what to tell you. All right, now the defensive line. I am giving them a B plus. Now the reason why I'm giving them a B plus is simple. I think there's a lot of things to like with the defensive line right now. Um, you know, you got right now Christian Wilkins. Christian Wilkins has taken a step. Now he's getting more pressures than he usually does, but as a run stopper, I mean, I know Jeffrey Simmons just had the day he did for uh, Tennessee, but Christian Wilkins is now second in the NFL in run stops with 26. Zach Seiler right now is sixth in the NFL in run stops. He's got 21. He's only one behind a massive tie for fifth. These guys got more run stops right now than guys like Lawrence Guy, Aaron Donald, Grady Jarrett. I mean, Daron Payne from Washington. They're amongst some pretty good company. So I like what those guys are doing. I think Christian Wilkins, as a player, I think you know, he's getting more pressures. Right now he currently has 16. I like that because guess what? Last year he only had 18. So his career best is 30. So I mean, right now, he's doing a pretty good job. Averaging about 1.6 pressures a game, 1.5 pressures a game. He's already tied his career high for sacks in the season, right? He's had 2 sacks every season. This year, he's already got 2. And we're only, he's going to have plenty of times to add more. So he's going to have the most run stops of his career this year, too, because his most in the season was last year when he had 30, and he's already at 26. So Christian Wilkins is doing a phenomenal job. When I include the defensive line, I'm going to include the edge players as well, like Emmanuel Ogba. I'm going to include here. Emmanuel Ogba has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, pay this man. What else is there to say right now? He is number 10 in the NFL in pressures. He is in amongst edges, right? This is what I'm talking about. He's 7th in the amongst edges and sacks. I like that. He is third in a massive tie for quarterback hits and third amongst edges. He is playing really well. And then you go by batted balls. Emmanuel Ogba has the most batted balls of any edge player in the NFL. So Emmanuel Ogba is having a fantastic season right now. I mean, he's also in the top 15 in run stops amongst edge players. So Emmanuel Ogba right now is a top 10 edge player in the NFL. And edge player, whatever you want to call him. Emmanuel Ogba is getting it done, and I absolutely love it. As far as the rest of the defensive line, I think quietly Jason Jenkins has had a fantastic season. Raekwon Davis looks like he's starting to get his legs under him a little bit. Since he's come back over the last 2 games, he hasn't been that great up until that point. I think John Jenkins has been phenomenal. Adam Butler looks like he's starting to contribute right now. So, I'm really happy with where this this all is. I mean, and even Brendan Scarlett on limited snaps is contributing right now. So, I'm pretty happy right now with where our defensive line is. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give them a B plus. You know, I think they're doing a damn good job this year. Now the linebacking core, and I'm being friendly here. I'm giving it a C plus, and why am I giving it a C plus? Because they figured out Jerome Baker is not that Mike, and since then they've improved and the run defense has improved. So I'm gonna give them a C plus. Now there's not as much to brag about here. Um, I'm gonna include Jalen Phillips and Andy Van Ginkel in this group. Um, you know, even though they're technically edges, but we labeled them as outside linebackers. But I'm gonna give you edge stats for them, specifically Jalen Phillips. You know, Jerome Baker has not been that good. Sam McGuavin has not been that good. Jerome Baker, though, he's offered you pressures, 17 pressures so far. Alandon Roberts, where he's going to contribute is right now he's got 14 run stops. And Jerome Baker's got 18 himself. So the linebacking core has been better. And I think Jerome Baker's actually more effective in the run game when he's up on the line of scrimmage. So they've done that. Now, if we talk about Jalen Phillips, now, yes, so Ogba's more of like an end in this defense. That's why I included him. Whereas, yes, Phillips is like an outside linebacker / edge because of how our schemes are. So, you look at Jalen Phillips right now, and I'm going to keep bragging about this kid. I'm sorry, I'm just going to. But specifically, when you look at his draft year, guys, right now, I mean, Jalen Phillips is number 3 in pressures. He is number 2 in sacks amongst his draft class at the edge position. You look at quarterback hits, he's number 2 amongst quarterback hits. You look at hurries, he's number 3 amongst quarterback hurries. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like Jalen Phillips is even number 2 amongst tackles in the 2021 edge class right now. The guy is consistent. I mean, he has the most, the second most tackle assists as well. Like, what is there to say? The guy is phenomenal right now. He's just doing it quietly. The reason why people are losing their minds is because of his sack numbers. His sack numbers aren't through the roof, but it'll come. He's learning it, and they still drop him back into coverage. So, he's one of the main reasons this is a C plus too. I could even go to a B minus on Jalen Phillips. Andrew Van Ginkel had a phenomenal game last week, but for the majority, but up until that point, he hasn't really been that good. He's actually looked like he's kind of regressed. So I'll hold that against him too. So I'm going to give a C plus to the linebacker crew. This grade might surprise people. The cornerback room, I'm actually going to give them a B minus, and I'm not going to kill them like I maybe should. And the reason why I'm not going to is a couple reasons. One, without Xavier Howard, if you go to the Ravens game and specifically the New England game, he had two massive plays that really swung the pendulum in winning favor for the Miami Dolphins. The fumble recovery on the Damian Harris fumble in week 1, and then the pick 6 on Lamar Jackson. Sorry, the touchdown return. So, Xavier Howard has been a huge part of 2 of our 3 wins. So can you really knock them as hard now? I know people aren't getting the ball production they want, and I get that. But I'm not going to knock them too hard. And I think quietly, I'm just going to be the one to say it. I think quietly, Byron Jones is having a really good season. Justin Coleman has started to become a ball hawk over the last few weeks. I mean, where did this come from? 2 weeks in a row, he's got, 2 picks. But you look at, Byron Jones pass breakups, like 7 pass breakups. Now, here's what I don't like when I look at them is, Byron Jones has a 101.2 NFL passer rating when he's targeted. Howard has a 108.2. Needham has 100.7. Noah Benogany when he's played has 139.3. Justin Coleman actually has, from our cornerback room, one of the better ones, and that's a 64.9 NFL passer rating when targeted. It's just Coleman takes a lot of penalties. Now, Xavier Howard's taking a lot of penalties as well, too. But Xavier Howard, the reason why people are going to knock is 7 touchdowns are accounted towards Xavier Howard this year. And that's kind of what the knock on that is going to be is that's the most he's ever allowed in a season. Last year he only allowed 4. The year before that he only allowed 3. This year he's already allowed 7. And right now he's allowed the second highest passer rating when targeted of his career. His career high in 2019 was 117.9. Right now he's allowing 108.2 NFL passer rating when he's targeted. So it's the touchdowns. He's allowed the most touchdowns of his career right now, and he's only got 2 picks. Now he is on pace to somewhat match his pass breakup totals last year of 10. He's already at 6. But it's the touchdowns. He's allowed, a ton of touchdowns against, and that's why people are going to take their knocks at him. Now, Byron Jones, when you look at Byron Jones this year in coverage, last year he allowed 5 touchdowns. This year he's only allowed 2, so he's on pace to allow less than last year. Now, last year he only had 2 pass breakups. This year he has 7 already. Now, we do want some ball production. He doesn't have any interceptions this year. But it's been tough sledding, but I actually think Byron Jones has been pretty good for us this year. So, secondary wise with Coleman coming on, I'm going to give them a B-, and it could be worse, but I'm going to be positive on that. Now, my midseason grade for the safeties is an A-. I think Javon Holland right now, what can I say? Javon Holland is a absolute stud in the making, people. You've seen me pat myself on the back over it. I think Javon Holland is as special as it gets when you talk about a defensive rookie in his first year. But he's just doing some he's just doing some really great stuff right now. So, I'm gonna give a lot of props to Javon Holland because here's the thing too. When you look at his position, guys, when you look at safety right now, the reality is this. When you talk about starting safeties in the NFL, he is the highest rated from his draft class this year. It's not even close. Like, Javon Holland is an absolute beast right now. And I think this kid, we are watching someone become special in front of our eyes. So, you go from that draft class right now. Let's just dive into it. Obviously, the guy has the most pressures amongst all safeties in the NFL. He's got 14. And he's got the most sacks amongst all rookies in the NFL. He's got 2 already. He's got the most tackles amongst his draft class right now. He's got the most quarterback hurries, most quarterback hits. He's got a pretty good pass. He's 95.5 passer rating when he's targeted. He's got the most he's got the second most interceptions amongst his draft class. He's only behind Caden Stearns. So I think we're seeing something special happen with Javon Holland. Now, Rowe has been kind of a disappointment, and McCourty has been too. But the way we have seen Brandon Jones come on the last couple weeks, that's bumped this up for me too right now, because Brandon Jones is number 2 in the NFL amongst all safeties with pressures, and he's tied with Javon Holland for the most sacks amongst safeties. So Brandon Jones has been special these last couple weeks. He's getting better now. He needs to improve in his coverage game. But a big reason I'm giving them such a high grade is I am really excited about the future of this duo. Now, if Kyle Hamilton is on the board, I move Javon Holland to the box, and I'll keep Brandon Jones, but I ain't missing out on a guy like Javon Holland. So, Rowe, and then you got Fledulum. You got to put in this group too. He's a big special teams contributor. Now he's not a contributor on the field, but for what he's asked to do, he does it well. So Javon Holland, he's a big reason this is at an A-, and Brandon Jones these last couple of weeks. This is based off what this team is going to turn into at the safety position is very good. Now, coaching wise, I gave them a C+ on the defensive side of the football. And had they not gone back to the cover zero and the Ruby and the exotic packages, this would probably be way worse. This is kind of like A+ coaching over the last couple of weeks meets like D+ coaching over the first bunch of weeks because of bad situational play calling, of dropping back in the zone, and then now look at what they're doing. Now, this could very well go up. If this defense continues on the trajectory it's playing right now, this thing could climb all the way to an A and make me forget the start. But right now, I can't forget that they were a contributing factor, even though the offense was holding them out to dry by leaving them on the field. Lack of playing complementary football, mental errors, stuff that should not be happening, that's pinned on the coaches. Defensively, right now, Boyer, I don't know whether he was calling the situation and then he got it taken away, but it was ugly at one point here. So, if Flores took over the reins and he's turned it around, he needs to stay holding on to those reins. Now, let's move to the offense. The offensive line, I'm giving an F. I mean, I don't know what else to say right now. I mean, it is a F. If I could get a double F, a fucking F, I would. It's that bad. Okay. This offensive line, like their strength was run blocking, and even over the last couple of weeks, they've struggled run blocking. Pass blocking, they're still the worst graded pass blocking unit in the NFL right now. You look at it, obviously, it hasn't been a good. It hasn't been a good. I mean, Eichenberg 44 pressures allowed, Jesse Davis 40 pressures allowed, Austin Jackson 39 pressures allowed, Robert Hunt 26 pressures allowed. I mean, Eichenberg and Jesse Davis alone have allowed more pressures combined than some NFL teams. I mean, between them, just for an example, between them, they've allowed 88 pressures. Okay? Heading into the game tonight for the Los Angeles Rams, this is just heading into the game tonight. The Rams had only given up 73. So Jesse Davis and Eichenberg had given up combined 11 more pressures than the entire Rams offense. Just to put that in perspective. Okay, so it's bad right now. And, and then on top of that, penalties. Like, the penalties are inexcusable, and they're at the worst times of the football game. They end drives, and it happens way too consistently. And this was one of the most, in the first 2 years of the Brian Flores era, one of the most least penalized teams in the NFL. Now we're one of the most penalized teams in the NFL. And a lot of it comes down to our offensive line. I mean, guys, right now, Eichenberg has 8 penalties. Jackson has 6. Robert Hunt has 6. Davis has 3. They lead our team. I mean, you're talking about 23 penalties between 4 of the offensive linemen that have seen the most snaps on this line. Got to be better, man. Like, you have to be better. I don't know what else to say. And, right now, Eichenberg, his 8 penalties, second in the NFL. Like Austin Jackson, Robert Hunt, 4th in the NFL. Can't be having this crap, man. And Lemuel Jean-Pierre, how this man has a job, someone still hasn't explained it to me because it's an absolute disaster. There is no way that man should have a job whatsoever. I mean, when you produce, I want you to think about this for a sec. When you produce 3 of the top 5 offensive linemen in pressure allowed, let alone 1, 2, and 3, that's got to be some kind of achievement in a bad way. I mean, who the hell, if you were listen, let me just put it this way. If you worked for a company and you were a sales manager and you had a sales team under you of 5 salesmen, and 3 of those salesmen were not just the worst salesman in your region, they were the worst salesman nationally for your company. Either you're losing your job, Lemuel Jean-Pierre, or they're all losing their jobs. Like, let's put this into perspective here. Like, and it doesn't help these young guys. A lot of this comes down to coaching too, right? Like, you've had a turnstile at the offensive line position coach job. Philosophies have changed. Steve Marshall last year was Gailey's guy. Lemuel Jean-Pierre right this year is Flores' guys. Different beliefs, different fundamental beliefs, different philosophies, different ways of teaching. Like, these guys aren't even getting consistent coaching to get better and to get the mistakes out of their game and to get the areas, the flaws they have and the areas they need to coach up. They can't even get it from you right now because it's a turnstile. And then, you're going to make every excuse for Austin Jackson to start. Are you crazy right now? I'm not saying release the guy, but he should not be starting. Tight end wise, though, we got to go B+ for the tight ends. I mean, I know Gesicki might have disappeared a little under the lights of Thursday night, but that doesn't take away from the really good season he's had so far. I think he's been, he's made me a little crow, that's for sure. I think he's been really good this year. You look at it right now, guys, he's 4th in the league in yards. He's got 529 yards. Only Kelsey Andrews and go figure Kyle Pitts have more yards than him. Now, he hasn't gotten the end zone as much as we'd like him to, right? He's not getting the end zone like a Hunter Henry or a Travis Kelce or a Dawson Knox right now. But, not bad to be number 4 in receiving yards amongst all tight ends. So, he's also number 3, he's also number 3 in receptions amongst tight ends this year. So, you got to show the guy a little bit of love. Now he's nothing to shake a stick at with pass blocking, but that's why we got Smythe and Ethan Carter and such. Now, Hunter Long should have probably dropped this grade on me, but I've been pleasantly happy with the rest of our, even Shaheen has made some nice catches for us. So I've been pretty happy overall with the tight ends room again. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give him a B plus. Um, you know, show me what Hunter's got. Now, wide receiver wise, I'm gonna go B minus, and this actually should be probably lower, but because Waddle has done what he's done under the absolute most ridiculous circumstances of not being used properly, I am going to give them a B plus. B minus right now. Now, when you look at Jalen Waddle right now he has the most targets, 82 of all his rookie class. He has the most receptions of his rookie class, yet he, just put an example. He has 60 receptions for 557 yards, but Jamar Chase has 44 receptions for 835 yards. Devontae Smith has 42 receptions for 603 yards. Chase is averaging 19 yards per reception, Devontae Smith 14.4, and Waddle is averaging, 9.3. And the reason being is because all he's being used on are bubbles, hitches, curls, drags. They're not overly testing the top of defenses with them. So his utilization has been awful. Awful. And this guy is on pace right now for over 100 catches, yet he's going to be the third wide receiver as a rookie to finish with over 100 catches and not 1,000 yards, because he's on pace for like 982 yards. So the only other two are Keenan Allen and Jarvis Landry. We are literally using this guy like Jarvis Landry. Jalen Waddle needs to be testing the top of defenses. So it's a crying shame how he's being used. But he's the reason it's so high, because he's playing above the coaching right now. That's why I give this a B minus. If it wasn't for Waddle, this thing would be like a C minus. Because Fuller can't stay healthy. Devontae Parker can't stay healthy, but when he does, he is effective, so I can't knock him. But Mac Hollins, I got to give Mac Hollins props. This is another reason why it's a B minus. He's stepped up. He's played well. I got to give him his props. So I'm gonna give because of Jalen Waddle's contributions and because of Mac Hollins emerging and stepping up to the plate. That's what brings this up. Otherwise, it's a C minus. So that's where I'm at with it, because I think Waddle has been absolutely fantastic. Waddle as a player gets an A plus. Got to think about it. Mac Hollins as a player gets an A plus for what he is, for what the expectations were to what he's played to. A plus. So because they've got 2 A plus in the room, I'm going to go with a B minus. Now the running back room, and a lot of this comes down to usage. I'm going to give a C minus. And How are you guys gonna give Hollins an F? I agree, Waddle an A, everyone else F. Mac Hollins has not been an F. So I'm gonna give a C minus right now to the running back room. Gaskin has had games where he's averaged over 5.5 a carry, but then we give him a little bit of a workload over 20 carries, but it's because the offensive line he can't produce. Ahmed hasn't got very many carries. He's been short burst. Malcolm Brown has been good. Laird's been actually surprisingly good since he come in. They have not been getting protection. That's the problem. They have not been getting good run blocking, especially over the second quarter of the season. It's kind of dipped. The play calling, when they get the ball going, when they get it going, they take the ball out of their hands. Like, how are you going to average over 5 yards a carry and then not give them the ball? So, like, literally the offensive line and play calling have to be taken into account, just like play calling needs to be taken into account to the wide receivers. You got guys going into congested areas. Like, what the hell is that? So, I'm going to give him a C minus. When you look at Gaskin right now, I was the one who, no one else in this community called him winning the job last year except me. I said he's going to beat out Kalen Ballage. Everyone argued me. He beat him out. And here we are. But from the rip, even when I said he was going to win that job, I said he's a complimentary back. He is not a number one guy. And I'm sorry, he is not. Like, right now he's averaging about 3.4 yards per attempt. These past two games have really taken him down. He's only got 344 yards. Malcolm Brown is averaging more than him right now. It's after contact. After contact, these guys are producing nothing. Gaskin only averages about 2.07 yards after contact per attempt. Ahmed 2.05. Malcolm Brown was 2.79, closer to 3. But they're not averaging very much after contact. So I think we're one of the worst teams in the NFL after contact. So I'm going to give him a C minus. Again, O-line and coaching have to be taken into account. Quarterback. Now let's get real controversial. B minus. Yep, I'm going to give him a B minus. And this is because I'm getting what I'm getting. And remember, Jacoby Brissett is included in this. The fact that these guys have been able to even produce behind this disaster, the fact that you've been able to scrounge together wins behind this disaster, you deserve an A plus. Let's be honest with ourselves right now. So let's start off with Jacoby Brissett. So Jacoby right now, as a passer, he's obviously not very good. I mean, let's not start lying to ourselves right now. But I mean, here's the reality of the situation. Guys, he's putting up his best completion percentage of his career right now. 62.7. The turnovers are obviously not very good. Now he has suffered drops. I mean, not as bad. Well, not as bad as 2016 and 2017, but but here's the thing, he holds the ball way too long, and that's why he gets sacked. But Right now he's put over 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Again, I'm factoring in coaching around him and the offensive line. Now, if you're asking for a specific grade of Brissett, it's a C minus. Brissett to me is a C minus. So, I mean, he's trash, but he won a game with this offense and this coach and these offensive coordinators. Good for him. I don't know how many people can say they could do that. Jesus Christ. So, and then the reason why it's actually higher is because I'm actually giving Tua a B this year. So far for this year, and I was between C plus and B minus, and I decided to be positive and go for the B minus. It was going to be a C plus, but I decided to be positive. You're getting positive reason today because we're coming off a win. Now, if we lost, I'm sure it'd be a lot different right now. But right now, 65 completion percentage. Obviously, don't like the fact that he has as many interceptions right now that he did all year last year. But you're seeing the progress with Tua this year. 7 touchdowns. We're looking at it right now. He's put over 3,000 yards up, 18 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions as a passer. His completion percentage is 64.6 right now. So, his evasion rate is up. So I like what we've seen into it. It's just we haven't been able to. I need to see him play like 7 or 8 games straight, finish this out. I can't have him get hurt again. You know, he's been testing defenses more. I've been impressed with him so far this year. You look at him right now, he's got a better NFL passer rating than he did last year. Last year he had an 87.3. It's up to an 87. Sorry, last year he had an 87.1. It's up to an 87.3 right now. His time to throw is around the same. It's about 2.5 seconds, so he's getting the ball out really well. He's still seeing a crazy amount of pressures, but he's evading them. I like where Tua's is right now. As a prospect. Now, is he on the verge of being a top 10 quarterback tomorrow? No. But, I think you're going to see a year 3 leap, whichever team he's with, whether it's us or another team, in the proper system, proper coaching, proper offensive line around him. I think you're going to see something special. And with weapons that can stay healthy. I've seen enough progress to be positive about his development. He's not even 24 yet. So, people forget Joe Burrow's going on 26. Joe Burrow's like 3 years older than Tua. And then, let's get into the final little aspect here. Coaching. And I'm being nice, D plus. It should be a D minus. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Right now, D plus. And these are the issues that I have. The offensive coordinators. I finally saw some creativity against the Ravens, so I took that into account. It was about damn time. Studesville and Godsey finally saw something from you guys. Okay, good, positive. Now, it took you that long, and I've been through that many weeks of suffering bad play calling and bad situational play calling and bad concepts at times. So, not good. Josh Grizzard, the fact that you've allowed them to use Waddle the way they have, and the fact they have used Waddle the way he has, is a goddamn crime and a goddamn shame. Charlie Fry, Trent Dilfer spoke on Sunday or Monday, and he said the creativity we saw in that Dolphins game reeks of Charlie Fry. So I don't know whether to give you the credit or the coordinators, but I will say this. I've seen progress into his game. I haven't seen leaps and bound progress, but I've seen progress into his game. So I got to give you a nod. Lemuel Jean-Pierre and assistant offensive line coach Sean Flaherty, y'all shouldn't even have a job in the NFL. It's an absolute joke that you guys do. Mike Judge, the assistant tight ends coach, and Godsey, you guys have done a good job with the tight ends this year. Stootsville with the running backs, you haven't done fuck all with that running back room. And the fact you allowed us to get to the point where we need a consistent blocking back that can be out there every down so they can catch the ball and run the ball. And you passed on guys like Jonathan Taylor, who had 107 yards in the first half yesterday. Or even a guy like DeAndre Smith, who had a great game in that overtime game against Detroit. Jesus Christ. The fact you let Jermaine Illuminor walk out the door and he's become a great guard for the Oakland Raiders is an issue. Matt Skura has been kicked to guard. You guys didn't give him a chance. That's an issue. So really, I should have you at a D-, but I'm being positive because we're coming off a win. So I'll give you D+. But I mean, like, show me some love because I'm being super friendly here. But yeah, those are how the grades went out for me. I'm not here to debate my grades. I'm just here to give my grades. I mean, you guys can grade them however y'all want. They're subjective grades. They're your own. You can look at it objectively, but at the end of the day, it's your own opinion, so it's subjective. So, I mean, take that as you will. That's how it grades out for me. Guys, smash that like button. The 154 of you in the room. Here's the deal. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be back with Ball Game with Martin, and we are going to break down the film. We're going to break down every single Tua Tagovailoa drop back. Then we're going to look at some Brissett drop backs. We're going to look at some defensive plays. We're gonna do about 25, 30 plays in total. We're going to break down some film. To his day's returns tomorrow. Then we're back to the regularly scheduled program. You already know what we do over here. On Friday, we'll be doing that post-game show. That pregame show to get you ready. Sunday, we'll be live reacting. And then Thursday, I'll have a show for you guys as well. But that is what's on tap for this week. And if anything breaks, any breaking news or anything, obviously we'll go out and we'll have an extra show. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys do. You guys are all, I assume, going to go watch Monday Night Football. I'm going to go hang out with the wife for a little bit. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I really do hope we can carry this over and start a little bit of a winning streak. I know it's crazy and I think it's crazy that we're even talking playoffs. We just one game at a time right now, but I know Dolphin fans like to look ahead, and that's one thing they're looking ahead at. But the best thing I can say is take it one game at a time now. Don't put playoffs at the front of your mind because you're just going to be disappointed because this team literally cannot afford another loss. They lose one more game, no playoffs. So, they're playing Russian roulette with the rest of the season, and usually that never ends well. Let's be honest with ourselves. So, man, I appreciate you all. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow night, but y'all know what time it is. Fins up all day, every day. Let's go get that W this week. I'll see you tomorrow for Tua's Day. Let's break down some Tagovailoa film. Take it easy, everyone.